Hello and welcome to this episode of Shatterdice Plays, and today we are going to be playing Hellboy, the board game. I've already set all the board up, set the characters up. First we have to spend our requisition cubes, which are these 6 cubes here. And each item that you can pick has a requisition cost, such as these manacles, which cost 2. So I am going to pick my items, and as you can see here, these are the 4 I've picked. The ancient spear for 1 requisition, the ancient text for 2 requisition, the manacles for another 2 requisition, and the armor piercing ammo for another requisition. So we're going to give the ancient text to Johann Kraus, we'll give the ancient spear to Hellboy, we'll give the armor piercing ammo to Abe Sapien. Those are our 6 requisition cubes spent. So let's read our case. Eviction notice. Frogs, like snakes, scorpions, ravens, and black cats, are traditionally considered harbingers of doom. This is borne out by folk tales, such as one from Africa, which sees a man's prayer for eternal life ruined by a frog who sees a bleak future for his own species should man flourish. It's no coincidence then that the chief minions of the Ogdru Jihad are the frog monsters. These amphibious hybrids are able to shapeshift, taking the forms of men to further their never-ending quest to bring about the end of the world as we know it. One of our field teams has cornered a particularly large specimen in an underground crypt. Agents are to report to the scene and deal with this threat before it escapes. You head underground, where you see obvious signs of frog monster infestation. Yeah, your target should be around here somewhere. Clear out its brood, and it'll have no choice but to show itself. So, each character has 3 action cubes, and these can be spent in any order. So, we are going to begin by having Johann Kraus. So it's a free action to explore. We're going to explore this room here, so we reveal this encounter card, and we have got 2 frog swarms, a clue, and minion D. So the way we set this up, because it's a 2-area room, is 1 goes in the first square, which is 2 frog swarms. Then 3 also goes in the first square, and then 2 and 4 would go in the second square. So we've got our clue here, and then minion D, which is a transforming frog monster, and 2 frog swarms. Lucky for us, we don't even need to move to do anything here. So we're going to have Abe Sapien spend 1 action cube to equip his armor-piercing rounds, which means shoot tests made with this weapon count the target's resilience as being too low. So this transforming frog monster will have no resilience. Then Abe Sapien is a very good shot, so we're going to have him spend another action cube to shoot at this frog monster, this transforming frog monster. And we are also going to have Liz Sherman assist him with 1 of her action cubes, which allows him to upgrade 1 of his dice. So normally his dice pool is 3 red, but because Liz Sherman has upgraded it, it is now 3 red, the blue, and 1 black. So we'll take our shot, and the result is a very nice 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This transforming frog monster's health is 4, and the armor piercing round removes all his resilience, so he gets shot to death. Then we will have Hellboy use an action cube to move 1 space with the frog swarms. Then he will use another action cube to clear a frog swarm so we just clear it, we don't have to roll any dice. Then we will have Liz Sherman use her 2 remaining action cubes to move forward into this area, and her last one to clear this second frog swarm. So we've done pretty well in that first room. Hellboy has 1 action cube remaining, so he is going to spend his final action cube to move to there. Then we're going to have Abe Sapien use his final action cube. Now Abe Sapien can move 3 areas, but we're only going to move 2 to get there. And then Johann Kraus, who has all 3 actions remaining, he is going to use 1 action cube to move 2 squares into the space with the clue. And Johann Kraus is then going to use another action to boost his exploration. Not his exploration, sorry, his examine, should I say. He's going to examine this clue. And by boosting his examine, he increases one of his dice by 1. So just like Abe Sapien, his examine would normally be 3 red dice, but we've boosted it, so we roll 1 black die. And he also has the ancient text, which will give him a bonus if he gets a good roll on the blue die, which he doesn't. He actually gets a catastrophe, which is really unfortunate, because we have to discard the highest scoring die. So instead of that 3, we just get the 1 and the 2. So unfortunately, the information gathered track only advances once, which isn't ideal, but could be worse. Okay, and then that is the end of the agents phase, so they can choose to either take time or just continue. And since I've cleared everything out, I'll get rid of that clue. We are going to just press on. So the Doom phase is really easy here. We just draw a card from the deck of Doom. So give these a quick shuffle. And we've got Ambush. Advance the impending Doom track. Spawn a minion C in the lead agent's area. Okay. And then we spawn a minion C, which is a armed frog monster. And he appears in the lead agent's area, which is Hellboy's. And then we advance to the next turn, because I've already done the end phase. So the enemies go first, which means this armed frog monster will attack. So he's going to target Hellboy, because he's already in the same area. And Hellboy's defense is orange. So Hellboy rolls 3 orange and the blue die. Which gives us 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll reduce the enemy's attack by 5. But we also have the blue die, which means we add 2 to the test result. So it actually becomes a 7, and he blocks everything. So that was a really good roll by Hellboy. And that's him done. That's the frog monster done, so he's in for a world of trouble now. And Hellboy wasn't hit, so he stays at the front of the target priority track. So we're going to have Hellboy go first. Hellboy's going to spend 1 action cube to attack this frog monster. So he rolls 3 red and the blue, of course. So we have 5, 6 damage. And the armed frog monster's resilience is 2. So that takes us down to 4 damage. And he has 6 health. So unfortunately he's still alive. So we're just going to spend another action cube to attack him again. Oh, that's extremely unfortunate. Because we got the catastrophe result, so we lose that. His resilience is 2. So he blocks the damage. So Hellboy will use his 3rd action cube to try and hit him again. Okay, that's better. So his resilience is 2, so we do 3, 4, 5 damage, and that is enough to kill him. Which unfortunately took us longer than planned, but never mind. Okay, so Hellboy has used all of his action points. So when Hellboy defeats that frog monster, he gets to use the manacles to place a clue in his space. So we've got another clue there now that Hellboy's just found. And we are going to have Johann Kraus try and get this clue. Johann Kraus is going to spend 2 action cubes to upgrade 2 of his red dice to black dice. So he's now rolling 2 black and a red. So he gets a pretty good result of 6, 7, 8, 9. Which means, because he's rolled more than 6, the information gathered track advances twice. So it goes 1, 2, up to 3, and Johann Kraus gathers one of these clue tokens, which I haven't finished painting yet. Okay, and then we will have Abe Sapien explore, which is a free action. So we've got minion D, minion A. Okay, so we're going to have a frog swarm in each space. There will be a clue there, and then we're also going to have minion A and minion D. So we've got both a transforming frog monster and a brawling frog monster, is it? A rampaging frog monster. We'll have Liz Sherman spend an action point to move into this space. Then she'll spend another action point to support Abe Sapien. Abe Sapien will then spend an action cube to shoot at one of these frog monsters. We're going to go for the rampaging frog monster. He's the bigger threat at the minute. So we'll roll our dice. And that is not a good result. That is not a good result at all. He does have armor-piercing rounds, so it does do 2 damage to the frog monster. So we'll put 2 wound counters on him. Oh, I should have downgraded one of those dice as well, because there's another enemy in the area. So I'll roll a red instead of a black. So I would have actually only done 1 damage to him. So because Abe Sapien's gun needs reloading, he is going to throw his harpoon at the frog monster. Which unfortunately doesn't ignore his resilience or anything. So that frog monster takes 3 damage altogether. Putting him on 4. So Abe Sapien has 1 last action, which isn't really any use to him at the minute. So he's going to use it to support Liz Sherman, who is going to use Flame Blast, which is a ranged weapon. Because Abe Sapien has supported her, she will be upgrading that orange die, so she'll be cancelling out this frog monster. She'll be rolling 3 red. And the total is a very respectable 8. So we place an Inferno marker in that space, and this frog monster is killed. That is the end of the agent's phase. So we go straight to the Doom phase. So we'll draw another Doom card. Restless Dead. If any minions were defeated this round, return the last one that was defeated to the board in the lead agent's area. They do not have any damage. Oh, wow. If no minions were defeated this round, advance the impending Doom track. Right, well, at least the Doom track doesn't advance. So this frog monster we just killed reappears here. I think it's 6 miniatures per area. And then it's the end phase. So we refresh our action cubes, and then we have to resolve this inferno. So we roll a red die. It's a 1. Which means this frog monster takes 1 damage from the fire. I don't think it affects the frog swarms. So because there are 2 frog swarms on the board, we advance the impending doom by 1. And then we are on to the enemy phase. So the rampaging frog monster will go first, and he will attempt to attack Hellboy. So Hellboy will roll his orange dice. We're not going to upgrade any. Oh, wow, that's come up a lot, hasn't it? So we discard the highest die, so he only blocks 1 damage, which means Hellboy takes 4 damage from that attack, and it activates its paralysing tongue ability, which costs Hellboy 1 of his action cubes, so he'll only get 2 actions this turn. Then we've got the transforming frog monster. So for the transforming frog monster, the first thing we do is we roll a yellow die. On a score of 1, it's removed and replaced with a rampaging frog monster. Fantastic. Which activates immediately. Okay, I assume he still has his damage on him though. So he fully transforms, and then he will move 1 into this area. Hellboy is no longer at the front of the priority track because he took damage, so now he is going to attack Liz Sherman. Johann Kraus will support Liz Sherman to upgrade 1 of her orange dice to red. Okay, that's not a bad roll. Oops. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5. So she actually blocks all of the damage. Okay, so it's on to our turn. And first we will have Hellboy move, taking this injured frog monster into this space here. As he isn't going to try to avoid it, he's just going to drag it with him. Because now we've got him by himself. I don't believe the frog swarms count as a enemy, and therefore Hellboy doesn't downgrade 1 of his dice. So he gets to roll all of his red dice. Which is a very nice result of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's got a resilience of 2, so he just splats that frog monster. But because he lost 1 of his action cubes, that is unfortunately his turn done. Liz Sherman will then use an action point to move into here with this frog monster, and then she will fight with it. So she has orange fight dice. Oops. I rolled the black instead of the blue, so ignore that die. Okay, still a good result though. So it's got a resilience of 2. She does 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to it. So she almost kills it. Then we're going to try and have Abe Sapien finish it off. So Abe's going to spend 1 action cube. Because Liz is in the space, he downgrades 1 of his dice to orange. Oh, that's a terrible result. So he actually blocks all of that. Oh, he needed to spend an action cube, so he spent his first action cube to reload his gun, and then another one for that shoot action, which was terrible. And then he's going to spend another action cube to shoot at it again. better result. So its resilience blocks 2, but it takes 4 damage, and that is the end of that frog monster. So Liz Sherman will use her last action cube to clear this frog swarm. Then Johann Kraus will use 1 action cube to move to here, a 2nd action cube to clear this frog swarm, and his 3rd action cube to examine this clue. Okay, so he gets the catastrophe, so he loses the 3, but thankfully he has this 3. So we examine the clue, and the information gathered track does advance 1 space, which gets us another information token. Okay, and that's then at the end of the turn. So there's no frog swarms on the board. There is an Inferno on the board, but Liz Sherman is immune to fire damage, so we still have to roll for this. So Liz Sherman would have taken 1 damage, but she's immune to fire damage. Then we have the Deck of Doom, the Doom phase. The Apocalypse calls, advance the impending Doom track twice. So I don't want to advance the Doom track any more than it already has, to be quite honest. So we're not going to take time, we're just going to carry on. So everybody gets their action cubes back. There's no enemies on the board, so we skip the enemy phase. And we will move straight on to the agent's turn. So the first thing we're going to do is a free explore action. So what have we got here? So we've got Minion A, which is a rampaging frog monster. Minion B, which is a venomous frog monster. Another clue, and Frog Swarm. Okay. Oh, Whispers in the Dark. Downgrade 2 dice on any test made for agents in this room. Okay, that's pretty bad. So if we look here, Whispers in the Dark, downgrade any dice. So we're going to have Hellboy go first. Because he's got the Ancient Spear, he can attack from this space, so he doesn't have to downgrade his dice. Oh wow, that catastrophe just keeps coming up, doesn't it? Okay, so we get rid of that dice. It's a resilience of 2, so it takes 2 damage. Okay, he'll use another action cube to try again. Okay, so he gets a reroll. And they're all pretty bad. So I'm going to reroll them all. I don't think you reroll the blue die. I don't think that's how that works. Ugh. So again, it blocks 2 damage from its resilience, and it takes 2 damage. Abe Sapien is going to move 1, 2 to here, and then Abe Sapien is going to try and finish it off. Oh, now there's the shooting we need. Yeah, so that, I don't even need to count it up, that clearly wipes out this frog monster. Did I reload his gun? I think I reloaded his gun, didn't I? If I didn't, then I kind of cheated a bit there. I'm pretty sure I reloaded his gun. Just in case I didn't, I'm going to take another action cube off him to say he reloaded. Okay, and then we are going to use Abe Sapien's last action cube and Hellboy's last action cube for Hellboy to fire his pistol at this frog monster. So Hellboy's dice are normally yellow, but Abe Sapien is assisting him, so he'll get 1 orange. Not only is Abe Sapien going to spend an action cube to assist Hellboy, so is Johann Kraus, because Hellboy is a terrible shot. So he will get 2 orange and a yellow die. And that is enough for what we want. So it's resilience of 2. Get rid of that. So we do 2 damage, but Hellboy's pistol, it suffers 5 additional damage, and then we flip this card because it's such a big pistol, which means it takes 7 damage after its resilience, and it's dead. Abe Sapien is done. Liz Sherman will spend a cube to clear this inferno. Then she is going to go 1, 2 to here. And then she'll spend her final action cube to move into this space with the clue. Johann Kraus will spend 1 action cube to go 1, 2 to here. Then he'll spend his last action cube to get rid of this frog swarm. So once again we've managed to clear the board, so thankfully we haven't had to deal with many attacks. So it's the end phase, and we can choose to take time if we wish. The information gathered marker is getting quite close to its trigger token, so we aren't going to do that. We aren't going to take time, even though it would be quite handy. We're just going to move straight onto the Doom phase. So we've got reinforcements. Advance the impending Doom track. Spawn a minion A and B in the start area. If the start area is no longer on the board, no minions are spawned. So we've got a rampaging frog monster and a venomous frog monster. So what would have happened is we would have flipped this card if there were no minions on the board. So if all rooms have been explored and there are no minions on the board, in the end phase flip this card. But these 2 frog monsters have arrived. We don't flip that card. So they will activate, unfortunately. And they each have a move value of 2. 2. So they're going to go to there. So thankfully he doesn't have line of sight, so we're safe there. So Johann Kraus will spend an action cube to move into that space. We'll have Liz Sherman spend all 3 of her action cubes to upgrade all 3 of Johann Kraus's dice. But remember, 2 get downgraded in this room. So Johann Kraus will spend 1 action cube to upgrade his own die. So at the minute he's rolling 2 red and an orange. So Abe Sapien will spend an action point to move into here. Then he'll spend 2 more action cubes. 1 to upgrade the orange to the red, and then 1 to upgrade a red to a black. Hellboy is actually going to move there as well, and he's going to spend 2 of his action cubes to upgrade those 2 red to 2 black dice. Because we really want a good result on this test. Okay, so I get to re-roll any of the dice. So we're just going to re-roll all of them. And that is more like it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So because it is above 6, we advance the information gathered track twice. Okay, so it is on to the end phase, so there's nothing to do there. I'll remove that clue. Doom phase. Advance the impending Doom marker. Okay, so that advances once. And then it is the enemy phase. So both of these will move. And the venomous frog monster can attack. So he's going to attack Liz Sherman. She's at the front of the queue. Oh, but Liz Sherman does not take any guff from this frog monster, and she blocks everything. It's then onto the agents phase. We'll have Hellboy go first, and he will move 1 to there. Then we'll have Johann Kraus spend 1 action cube to move to be with him, and Johann Kraus will spend 2 action cubes to upgrade 2 of Hellboy's dice. So because there is another frog monster in the area, Hellboy would downgrade 1 of his dice to orange, but Johann Kraus upgrades 1 to red and upgrades another 1 to black. Before we do the attack though, I've just realised this doesn't cost an action. Hellboy's Deep Pockets. Flip this card during the agent phase to draw from the bottom of the requisition deck until you find a weapon, ammo or clover card. So we're going to do that now. So we'll shuffle the requisition deck. And then we'll draw 1 from the bottom. The Head of Father Nicholas. Discard this card in the agent phase to remove a piece of scenery. Now. Okay, well that's not going to be any use to him. Oh, wait. It says until you find a grenade, ammo or clover card. And this isn't any of those. So instead, we draw the Lucky Charm. Flip this card to ignore all damage inflicted on your agent by a single attack. Okay, that would have been useful earlier. Okay, so I was hoping for some armor-piercing bullets, but never mind. Okay, so back to that attack. 1 black and 2 red. That is a pretty good result. So that becomes a 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, that's it. That kills him. So we take out that rampaging frog monster. And then he's going to attack again. So because that monster's dead, he's now rolling his 3 red. No more downgrades. But no more upgrades from Johann Kraus. Although, I'm going to have Abe Sapien move there and support Hellboy twice. So he now has 2 black and a red. And then we may as well have Liz Sherman move there and spend 1 action to support him as well. So he gets a really good roll. Hopefully it's enough to kill him. Putting all my eggs in 1 basket here. But even if he doesn't, hopefully Liz Sherman can finish him off. What do we... Oh, yeah, that's definitely done it. 8, 9, 10 damage. So he's out of there. And then Liz Sherman, she really can't do anything else, so we are going to leave that there. And then we are onto the Doom phase. So we draw our Doom card. Bad Temper. Put this card in play next to Hellboy's agent board. Each round, 1 of Hellboy's actions can only be spent to make fight actions. Cannot be spent any other way. Discard this card when Hellboy suffers injury or the agents take time. Oh, right. So Hellboy's going to have to... Well, there's nothing on the board yet. So that is onto the end phase, which means if all rooms have been explored and there are no minions on the board in the end phase, flip this card. So what have we got here? Looks like you've cleared the place out. You take a moment to ready yourselves for what comes next, listening out for any sounds that might give away your quarry's location. Discard any case card files that are in play. Then the agents immediately take time as though it were the rest phase. Okay, that's good. The impending doom track is not moved. Okay, so discard any case card. So we discard this case card and this case card, which means whatever that nasty trigger was isn't going to happen. And then we get to take time. So each agent gets to heal damage equal to 2 red dice. Now only Hellboy's been damaged because they've done really well clearing out rooms. So Hellboy heals 3 of his damage, which is really good. Abe Sapien also gets his harpoon back, and Hellboy also reloads his pistol. And we reset target priority. So Hellboy goes back to the front of the target priority track. And I can trade items. There's not really anything worth trading. So then with all that done, then you see it high up on one wall, crouching in an alcove. It's a frog monster, way bigger than the others you've been dealing with. Before it can make a move, you're already opening fire, sending it tumbling to the ground. The lead agent sets up the giant frog monster in any area that is visible to at least one agent, then discard this card. So, I've set up the giant frog monster here, and he has 2 minion B, I believe it is. Yeah, so he's got 2 venomous frog monsters as close as possible to him, which I'm going to assume it doesn't mean in the same area. So this is the giant frog monster. He has 20 health and a resilience of 4. He's got range 1, so he's pretty big, he's pretty tough. Oh, actually, he takes up 3 spaces, so they can fit there with him, I believe. And then we make a boss behaviour deck for him, because they don't have a set behaviour, so we take all the cards with the yellow, red and purple, give them a shuffle. Okay, and then the 2 insight markers we gathered from those clues get added to this board. So for every insight marker we have, we can use them to exploit the giant frog monster's weakness. So we make a fight or shoot action that targets the boss, upgrade 1 die for each insight on the confrontation board, which is pretty good. Now, unfortunately, it goes on to the enemy's phase. So the boss always activates first, and he has a range of 1. So because Hellboy is at the front of the track, let's see what the boss behaviour card is. Summon minions. Spawn a minion A and a minion B in the area that is as far away as possible from any agents, but no more than 1 room away from the boss. The lead agent chooses the exact area. Okay, so minion A and B, a rampaging frog monster and a venomous frog monster. They will spawn there. Okay, that's not ideal. Okay, then it's on to our turn. So, is have Liz Sherman activate. So she's going to use 2 of her action cubes to stoke the living flame, which means her living flame tracker advances by 1 or 2. So I'm going to advance it by 2 because it's not very high for each action cube spent. And then we will have Johann Kraus spend 2 action cubes to upgrade Liz Sherman's attack. And then she will spend 1 action cube to use Flame Blast. So that would ordinarily be 3 red, but because of the 2 venomous frog monsters it would downgrade to 1 red and 2 orange. Johann upgrades it back to 3 red, and then because of the 2 insight markers we advance 2 of these red to black. And with Flame Blast she'll add the level of the living flame to this attack, so it's going to be +3. Right, so it's a re-roll, but I don't think we need... she's attacking the boss, of course. So we don't actually need to re-roll anything. I don't think you can re-roll the blue die. It says any test die. That's not a test die. When we re-roll this one, that was a 2 because it can't get much worse than that. Okay, it can get worse than that. So we've got 3, 6, 9 for the living flame, so 10. which means his resilience is 4, so he takes 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Putting him down to 14 health. And we put an Inferno in that space. It's not weak to fire, is it? No, we thought frogs would have been, wouldn't we? Oh, so that's Liz Sherman done. And we reduce the Living Flame by 1. Okay, Johann Kraus is going to use his last action cube to move into here. And then he's going to evade the giant frog monster, but he's going to take these two with him into this space here. So he would take, ordinarily he would take 1 damage because he evaded the giant frog monster, but the giant frog monster is deadly, which means he takes 2 damage. However, Johann Kraus has the special rule Dead Man Walking. He doesn't suffer injuries. Oh, that's injuries. So he does suffer damage. So Johann Kraus takes 2 damage. But that's fine. He's got plenty of health left. Which freezes up to attack the frog monster. Hellboy is going to use 1 action to shoot at the frog monster. And Abe Sapien is going to use 1 action point to assist him. So ordinarily this would be 3 yellow, but he gets 2 upgrades for the insight markers, give me orange and yellow, and then Abe Sapien upgrades another 1 to orange. So we get 3 and the BPRD symbol, which we'll use that to turn this into a ×2. So he's got a resilience of 4, which basically gets rid of that 4. It does 1 damage, plus he's using his Hellboy's pistol, so that does an additional 5 damage. That does 6 damage to him. So it reduces him from 14 all the way down to 8 health, which isn't bad for 1 action. Then he's still got 2 action points left, and he's got the Ancient Spear. So with the insight markers, it becomes 2 black and a red. So he's going to attack him with that. So 4 is blocked by its resilience, and 4 damage goes through, reducing him to 4 health. And then we're going to do the same thing again with his last action point. Oh wow, yeah, Hellboy's just killed him. So that's enough to kill him by itself. So we'll use the BPRD symbol to get rid of Hellboy's last wound and then reduce him to 0 health. So that kills the frog monster. Okay, so we've wiped out the giant frog monster. But before we end the game, we have to kill everything else on the board. So Abe Sapien moves 3 spaces. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, and drag this venomous frog monster to there. He'll take 1 damage because he's avoiding the rampaging frog monster. And then he's going to spend his last action cube to do a melee attack against this frog monster. Oh, okay, it's not a great result, so we'll re-roll those 2. Okay, that's a little bit better. So it does 3 damage to this frog monster. And that's him done, actually, isn't it? Because he helped Hellboy earlier. Right, which means there is no more Doom phase, because the Doom deck disappears. So we'll see if this Inferno does anything. It sputters out. And then it is the enemy's phase. So the rampaging frog monsters will go first. So we'll do this one. 1, 2. He attacks Hellboy. Oops. So Hellboy blocks 3 damage and gets the BPRD symbol, which he can use as anything he wants. So he blocks 5 damage and it does nothing to him. This one, it's already in a space with Johann Kraus. But I believe... Oh, they're venomous frog monsters, aren't they? So, what these will do is they will actually move out of the areas. So we'll just move them all together. So we'll do this one first, who's going to attempt to attack Hellboy. This one might move to there later, depends whether Hellboy gets injured or not. Okay, so Hellboy has a terrible dice roll there. So he loses an action cube from the venomous frog monster's paralysing tongue, and he blocks no damage, which means he takes 5 damage. But he's then at the back of the cube. Okay, then we'll do this one, who's going to attack Liz Sherman. Liz Sherman also has orange defense. Oh, wow. Wow. So Liz Sherman only blocks 2 damage, so she takes 3. And she is also paralysed, losing an action cube. But that puts her to the back of the priority track, so this one will stay here and attack Abe Sapien. Oh dear. Abe only has yellow defense dice. Okay, he blocks 1, but he gets a reroll. So he blocks 2, so Abe Sapien also takes 3 damage. Unfortunately, we've done really well so far, despite the catastrophe symbol coming up a lot during this game. We've managed to not die in the tutorial level so far. Right, and then that is all of the monsters done. So it is on to our turn, which means we'll start with Hellboy, who's only got 2 action cubes. But he is going to use both of those to do his big right hook ability against this guy. So he rolls his red dice. That's not a great result, but it does double that to 4, so it does 6. Now he's got a resilience of 2. So it would do 4 damage, but Big Right Hook does 3 additional damage. So it'll be enough to kill him, and he hurls him. And he's going to hurl him into this space, which means he suffers an orange die of damage. Now this isn't a hit, so that was 2. So I don't think his resilience counts against that. I think they just suffer the damage, if I'm not mistaken, because it says suffer the damage, not that it's a hit. I think. I could be wrong on that, but that's how I'm going to play it, because otherwise it seems strange that it couldn't really hurt anyone. So that's Hellboy done. Abe Sapien is going to shoot at him. So he rolls red dice for a shoot attack. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, so we've got a catastrophe again, which means it only does 3 damage, and he's got a resilience of 2, so he only takes 1 wound. Which puts him on 4. Okay, we'll use another action to shoot at him again. Yeah, okay. Wow, it's another catastrophe, so this time it does nothing. So Abe Sapien's final action, he's going to have to try and shoot him again. Okay, so we've got a reroll at least. So we may as well re-roll all of these. At least it wasn't another catastrophe. Okay, that's a bit more like it. So it blocks 2 with its resilience, and then it takes 4 damage, which is enough to kill it. It took him every shot he had. Say Abe Sapien is meant to be a good shot. He did not prove himself to be one then. Okay, then we've got Liz Sherman. So Liz is going to use Flame Blast for 1 action cube against this frog monster. So she rolls red, for it counts as a shooting attack. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6. The Living Flame is at level 2, so we add 2 to this, giving us a total of 8. So minus 2 for his resilience, but it's definitely enough to kill him. It puts an Inferno on the board. And we reduce the Living Flame by 1, but it's still at level 2, so Liz Sherman will use her last action point to try and do the same to him. Catastrophe again. So we add 2 to the result, so it's 3, he's got a resilience of 2, he takes 1 damage. So we've got Johann Kraus left with 3 attacks. Okay, I want to show one of the special abilities off. So when we defeated him, Johann Kraus could actually spend 2 action points to possess him, which he will do. Which means this minion moves up to 3 spaces, controlled by me, and then makes a ranged or a melee attack. Against another enemy, of course. So I'm just going to leave him there and make him attack this guy. Which its ranged attack is 5, and its resilience is 2. So it automatically does 3 damage to him. And then he dies. Oh, and then he has to he reduces his ectoplasmic stabilizer by 2, but that's fine because it's not been reduced at all so far. So he's got 1 action left. We're going to use Johann Kraus to try and finish off this monster. So he uses orange dice. That's not a very good result, 3, so it takes 1 damage, so it is still alive, with 1 health left. So it then takes its turn. Johann Kraus is actually at the front of the queue. So Johann Kraus will try and defend, and he defends nothing. So Johann Kraus takes 2 wounds, and then he would start flipping these to injuries, but Johann Kraus has a special ability where he doesn't take injuries. Instead, for each additional damage, for each injury he would flip, he reduces his ectoplasmic stabilizer. It reduces by 3, which, luckily, that puts his ectoplasmic stabilizer to its last space. If it went below that, he would be knocked out. So he has one rather vicious final pop at the agents. And then it is back to our turn. So we're not going to mess around with this. Hellboy's going to use all 3 of his action points to support Liz Sherman, upgrading her to 3 black dice. And she's going to use Flame Burst. Oh, in fact, hang on a second. That should have been placed when I fired at him the first time, because even if you don't do any damage, an Inferno gets placed. So that would have actually burnt that frog monster to death, but never mind. We'll ignore that and say it did nothing. We've already gone way past that point. Okay, 3, 6, 9, plus 2 for the Living Flame. So that's 11 damage, so yeah, he's dead. So when all enemies have been defeated, that is the end of the game. There is no ending story or anything, so you can just imagine that they all get congratulated by their boss for taking out the evil giant frog monster and cleaning out that swarm. And that is basically the opening game to Hellboy the board game. Probably made a bunch of mistakes there, but I did try to correct them where I could. But I hope that gives you a good idea of what the gameplay is like. And that is it for this playthrough. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.